I spent years failing until I realized that strategy doesn't matter one iota if your energy is broke. So today I'm going to share with you the energy shift that finally made my business work after so much struggle. And hopefully, this will save you some trial and error by learning from my mistakes and my journey. I used to think that my business would work when the universal forces aligned and I got my energy just right. But what I actually was waiting for was permission from my damn self to finally start owning my power and my light. So I'm going to talk about the shift that changed absolutely everything for me in my business. I used to think, oh, if I just heal enough myself, then the clients are going to come. But really, what that was self-sabotage wrapped up in a package of disguised as trust. I used to think, oh, I just need one more certification or one more business coach that is just going to totally light a fire and solve all my problems. And then it's all going to work. But what that really was, as I thought that the value was in my credentials or in the people I worked with, completely fucking missing the point that the value was in me. And it always had been all along. But I didn't fully believe that at the time. And then there's the other self-sabotage mechanism that I did a lot, which I knew that my energy was important, but then I used that as an excuse to not do anything if I wasn't feeling perfect. So I would say, oh, I'm just not in the right energy today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. But then tomorrow I wasn't at the right spot energy wise. And you see how that just keeps going on and on and on. And the one thing that I really realized on a deep level was that my business is not a test of my spirituality. It's actually a practice ground for my sovereignty. So the shift that I had to make was I had to get out of that energy of I'm going to do this when I'm ready to I'm going to do this now, even if I'm only 62% ready. And if I'm going to learn as I go because I know I'm already fucking good enough, then I might have a chance. So I just got my feet moving. This changed everything for me because now I was watching myself stop waiting for divine timing. And I started watching myself actually taking those actions that was going to create or move things forward, that I focused on the process instead of the outcome or perfection. I finally embraced the energy of good enough and knowing that done is better than perfect, that it would be okay to be my raw self, that me and my rawness and then my realness is not only good enough, that's what people need. So I gave up the illusion of achieving some ideal of perfection. Perfection doesn't fucking exist. The other big shift that really helped me a lot was I started to see my business as a spiritual practice in itself. I stopped dividing that away from the rest of my life. And I realized this is my spiritual practice. Everything I do using my divine creativity and expression is spiritual as fuck. And then I started getting into more flow states more of the time because I realized the joy is not in the perfection or the outcome. It's actually in the building, the creating, the iterating, the reiterating. It's all growth that I had along the way. Stay with me because I'm going to share the number one energy leak that 99% of healers ignore. That energy leak is if you are pouring from an empty cup, but probably not in the way you think. What usually comes to mind for me with this phrase, pouring from an empty cup, is like boundaries or not enough self-care. But the number one soul leak is that you are giving charged energy instead of neutral energy when you help people. So, what does that mean? Well, it's when you give charged energy when you help someone that you're connected to the outcome or you're attached to the outcome of that. You're using your own emotional charge to help this other person heal. You're giving them your personal energy to help solve that problem for them. And it's when you get enmeshed with their outcome, like this is your savior complex, you're trying to fix them, or you're bringing your ego into it and feeling responsible for their results. Well, I have news for you. You can't want someone's healing worse than they want it for themselves. And so, an example of being in a neutral or uncharged energy when you help people, this is actually when you are of highest service to them. And that is you are completely detached from their outcome and you are completely detached from any agenda that you might have about their healing or whatever you're helping them with because it's not about you. It never was. They need to care about their healing more than anyone, or else it ain't gonna work. I'm sorry. Not sorry though. The people that you're trying to fix probably aren't even ready for healing to begin with if they can't take responsibility for their own healing. And if you're doing the work for someone, like for them, they're not going to learn how to actually process that energy within themselves and work on that energy within themselves on their own. They're going to be dependent on you, which creates these really sick cycles that drain you. You feel drained as fuck after a session, or your personal life is spent feeling on edge, worried about your clients, worried about what other people are doing. And always remember that true empathy is the observer when you are enmeshed. You are absorbing their energy, you're taking that energy on, you're feeling responsible for their energy. Where I see a lot of healers getting stuck with this is they feel that if they aren't showing struggle with that person, they're not in the pit struggling with that person, then they're not actually helping, but it's actually the opposite. It's your calm and loving presence that is always going to help them way frickin' more than stooping down to their level. It's like when Abraham Hicks says, you can't get sick enough to make a sick person well, and you can't. So, how do you plug that in and amplify your impact by 10 times? I want you from now on, before you work with someone, imagine yourself covered in a Teflon coating, like those Teflon pans that, they're non-stick, that all over your energy field. So their energy does not get absorbed into your energy field. So it flows through you. It can come through, you can experience that with them in the moment, but it's not sticky. It does not get absorbed that way. Intention is everything. And you're going to have to get brutally honest with yourself. Ask yourself, am I helping them heal to prove that I'm a good healer? Where are your intentions at? Where are your motives at here? And make that shift instead of thinking, oh my God, I have to fix this person right now and figure everything out for them. What happened to you trusting the divine and you trusting divine timing for that person and their own soul's timing on their own spirit team's timing? Really, you should be doing everything in your power to be healing this on a very deep level within yourself because this shit will hold you back every time if you do not address it. And once you make that shift, you're going to be selling for your business in an entirely different energy because you will not give a crap whether someone buys or not, whether they do your service or don't do your service. Because at that point, once you've healed this, you know that their soul is on their own timing. And you know that your soul is on your own timing and you're calibrated to that. And you're just in a whole different energy. You'll go from feeling exhausted to now feeling very expansive and empowered, exhilarated. One other thing I think you will notice is you will stop giving your energetic gems away for free to people that don't value it. And what I mean by that is when you don't see your own value, how the hell is anyone else going to see that? So when you make the shift, you're naturally going to start demanding more for the value you provide because you know it's freaking valuable. And let me ask you a question. What could I pay you to unlearn everything you've learned on this journey of becoming a coach or becoming a healer? What could I pay you to unlearn all of that and go back to your undeveloped self? Think about that. When I first heard this question from one of my wonderful business coaches in California, it blew my mind because I was like, well, it's actually 100% priceless. You could not pay me enough to regress all of the progress I've made and undo that. So you're way more valuable than you might think you are. So is it time for you to heal this? Yes. And you'll notice as you heal this, you're going to be making such a deeper impact for every client that you work with. You're going to be in a whole different energy. You're going to feel exhilarated and excited by your work instead of drained and exhausted and scared. Your clients will take ownership for their own healing because you're not holding it for them. You're not trying to do this for them. Your job is not to carry the pain. Your job is simply to light the path so your client can walk down that path and see where they're going, but they're going to walk down that path themselves. You're just lighting the way. You're just holding that vibration for them of their fully healed version. That's the most healing force in the universe is unconditional love. Your energy is the most important thing you could do in a session is be calibrated to your highest frequency. Never mind whatever modality or technique that you use. Who cares? They're all paths leading up the same mountain. So I have a free training for you if you want to go to my website at dgtwellness.com and click on download the free training. This is a training called Activating the Abundant Quantum Healer Within. It gives you some money mindset questions as well as some healing techniques and protocols that you can use with your clients to help them find their own answers. I think you'll absolutely love this. So go grab that. It's totally free. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you would like, and click on the little bell to get the notifications as soon as they come out, as soon as these juicy videos come out. And also share the video with someone who is struggling with this or is on this path with you. Be that friend you always wished that you had. I always wished that more people would have called me on my shit earlier in my life instead of just kept the peace, because that's not where the growth happens. So, food for thought anyway. You got this. So much love. Talk soon. Bye.